last week. He was going to hit the market this winter, Dean, in months, in less than 40 games, as a free agent that can pitch like an ace and hit like an all-star silver slugger. And instead, Tommy John, number 2, no bueno. That's $100-200 million on the table he's left there. That's a shame for the young man.
That's Rob Ray money.
That's Rob Ray money. When you $200 million, he's
million.
just going to leave under his couch cushion there.
Yeah. Look at that fella right
That's
there.
an intimidating presence.
You guys look kind of bad.
Yeah. Yeah. In high def quality. How are you, Razor?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're terrific.
School's back soon, Rob. We're at the very end. These kids need structure. Get them out of my
I dropped my daughter off Friday at school, and then my son, I don't know, Tuesday maybe.
It's back.
Yeah. So realistically, parents have what? A week of summer without their kids?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So
what's going on?
Where are? Because Warner's, is this Warner's office?
This is Rhett's office. He's big time now.
Big time coach now.
Is he the same place in Buffalo, or has it changed? Are we on the road now? We haven't been getting a lot of intel about Buffalo here.
Where Rhett's living?
Yeah, because I mean, he rented a place last year.
Well, he was in some of the government subsidized housing last year.
Right.
And then I got him a house behind mine now, so he's actually moving up in the world a little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
Can help you with the yard work. I know you had a chainsaw going.
No, he needs his grass cut.
Okay.
Yeah. So is he good at, is it reciprocal? Is he now helping you out a lot? Is he very handy for you?
No, the first day he moves in, I look out, his kids are climbing over my fence. There's a gate right there. There's a gate 20 yards from that gate to go into my backyard. But no, they got to climb over the fence. I yell at them, don't climb over the fence, come through the gate. And Dum, instead of saying, listen to him, he brings a ladder out, puts it up against the fence. Okay, guys, climb up the ladder and jump over the fence. They weren't in the pool 10 minutes. And those big fluffy things that you lay on that, float on the pool.
Yeah.
I look out, one's tore apart. The whole pool is covered with those light white little foam things all over the pool. I'm like, good job, guys. Welcome to the neighborhood. This is fantastic.
That was day one.
Day one.
Yeah. And what's great is they're just now entering the real stupid stage.
Yeah.
Like his oldest boy has been stupid for a couple of years. Now the other two are really catching up. It's going to be a whole lot of stupid in that house in about 3 years, 2 years from now. It's going to be terrific.
The best part about it is they don't have blinds on their windows yet.
Oh, no.
So I can look out my back door right into when Chrissy's getting out of bed and that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So if I time it just right, I can start my day off right. You got to get to know the neighbors a little bit.
That's right.
How well do you get to know? That's a good question.
Well, that's Buffalo. That's Buffalo for
guys,
you. Right?
Guys.
Yeah. Treat your neighbors the right way. You never know what'll happen.
You always need something, so you got to be right with them.
Now that pool. Tell us about the pool in the backyard. Is it seasonal?
Seasonal. That's Buffalo, son.
Above ground?
No.
Well, Rhett says they're all above ground. You
know what? He's right. When you fly into Buffalo and you look down, there's a million above ground pools.
Yeah.
There's a million of them. It's funny actually. But no, mine's in ground. I splurged a little bit and got it. And they don't use it much though, eh? That's the problem.
The Rhett's boys will. Don't worry. Yeah.
When they're young, they do, but then I'm gonna fill it in, poke a hole in the bottom, fill it in, and put a nice little rock garden out there.
Well, if you're not careful though, Razor, you get your tarp off, you start getting into the pool. Chrissy's gonna be looking back at you, looking to start her day the right way.
That's right. So Rhett always leaves the rink early, and I stick around the extra half hour, 45 minutes.
Very neighborly. Yeah, very neighborly.
Yeah,
teamwork.
Well,
Rhett just wanted me to tell you he took off too. He's got to go practice.
Yeah, I know.
I got to plan a practice. He doesn't even run the practices. Matty Ellis runs the practice. He just stands there, but he's all excited today because we're skating.
Okay.
And he's going to beat the boys up a little bit here.
So are you in cahoots with what he, like, are you just at the same rink, or are your boys of the same age, or how?
No, they're the same age.
Oh,
Rhett's a head coach. I help Patty Coletta and Matty Ellis. And Maddie's got a kid in the team. I got a kid in the team, and Rhett's son Luke's on it. So, no, it works out good. We're at the rink here where we spend most days here. So,
how would you,
head coach?
Yeah, how would you kind of grade his coaching
ability? We won. We went 3-0-1 on the weekend. We should have went 4-0. We kind of puked up a 3-goal lead in the third period in the third game.
Yeah.
And he wasn't too happy. But we win the fourth game. And I never heard so many F-bombs in my life when he walked into the dressing room after the game. And these kids here, they just had a great weekend. We bagged them all week from skating training camp. You know, they're dying. They play well. And he's just giving it to them after the fourth game. I'm like, Rhett, did you really need to do that? Like maybe just boost them up a little bit? They got to learn. They got to know. They got to know where I stand. So already he's had problem with two parents complaining that their kids aren't getting enough ice time. A couple kids said they're too tired to play. Just things like that. You deal with it.
And our side of it, not to speak for him and not to speak out of school, but we were led to believe the parents are crazy.
They are.
That you guys have been rolling lines, no favoritism.
I don't know what it's like up there because my kid never played up there, but here they believe the more money they spend and maybe the more their kid is on the ice, the better chance they got.
Yeah.
And it's totally wrong. These kids are 14. They need to skate, yes, but they also need rest. Rest at this time of year is better than, going out and doing some stupid skills and that for an hour and draining them. Get the rest for them. And they don't get that. They want to be on the ice all the time. We had a kid at 13 last year come to us and he goes with his dad and he goes, hey, my kid doesn't kill penalties. And the kid says, yeah, is that going to affect when somebody's watching me to go play somewhere else that I don't kill penalties? This is 13 years old.
13, yeah.
We all kind of look at each other and we're going, serious? This is the conversation we're having right now with a 13-year-old kid because he doesn't kill penalties.
Yeah.
But they were worried that was going to affect if somebody was possibly watching him. And it's amazing what they come up with.
That's wild. And that's not that. You know what? That's not a Buffalo thing. That's a hockey.
No, it's across the board.
There's psycho parents.
Everybody thinks that. Yeah. Everybody thinks that. And because we try to tell them that the farther you go in the game, you're going to start being put into areas to specialize in. It's like I'm not. Believe it or not, when I was their age, I'd have 150 points a year. Best player in the team going and playing. And I go, boys, it quickly changed. As soon as you stepped into junior B, tier 2, major junior, it changed. And they will expect you to do something or maybe change your role a little bit. And you got to be able to do it. We sat with the young kids that came into Buffalo, the draft picks this year. And there was Jeff Skinner, myself, Danny Gare, Marty Baron, forget who else was there, talking to them. And the biggest thing was being able to change your game the farther you go, because they don't want 18 offensive players. You don't want 18 defense. Everybody is going to be expected to adjust unless you're a superior offensive player, you kind of build and keep pumping it. But those other guys are going to be expected to change the role a little bit. And maybe an offensive guy is going to have to turn into a defensive guy, kill penalties, be responsible third, fourth line. But there's so many guys that aren't willing to do that because in their mind, from agents to coaches in the past to parents, you got to score. You got to score to be effective. You got to score to get noticed. And that's the biggest crock of crap out there. It's people that are educated in the game and they're watching the game. They see the little things the kids do. It's not because they score a goal. They might have done something 30 seconds before that led to the goal. And they're going to look and go, no, that's a player. He's paying the price. He's doing something different to help out everybody else. But they all think they got to score. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing.
Not a lot of kids out there, man. I'd love to win the Selke one day. If I could just win the Selke award, my dreams would be all realized.
Yeah. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad because I think there's so much pressure put on these kids now too by not so much the coaches, because I think a lot of guys that are coaching understand it, or I hope
not your coach, but a lot of coaches.
No, our coach doesn't. He's a little brain dead sometimes, but it's coming from the parent. It's coming from somewhere else all the time. Look he's got a 1970s helmet on and his whistle. He hasn't used that whistle yet. He hasn't ran one drill yet in now a week and a half that he's been in charge of the team. But they have so much pressure from outside that it's crazy that you almost as a coach got to try to relieve that pressure and take that off them and get them to relax to play.
It's funny because on one hand, you commend these kids for being so professional and organized and committed to all these causes. But the second, it's like, Jesus, this is a night and day from what we saw 20 years ago.
Oh, it is. The day of just going to play. Like, I grew up in a town of 1,200 people, and the ice went in after the fair. So that was the end of September, and it went out probably the 1st of March. Yeah. And you never touched the ice. You either worked on the farm, you played ball in the summer, whatever it may be. That's what you did. You didn't skate. You didn't even dream about it until the fair started the next year. And it's like, oh, we got hockey practice.
Almost time to get on the
Every
ice.
kid that showed up for the team made the team. You'd have fight who was going to be the goaltender. You know, it was, but that's the way it was. But, you know, I'm not bragging here or anything, but 3 kids out of our town, out of 1,200 population, make it to the NHL.
Wow.
So they weren't in the, you know, the GTA playing the top teams all the time, you know, playing every day all summer. And dad's got one of our kids went to a place in Indianapolis, a buddy of his, the other day. And he went out there because his dad has a rink built in their backyard. And I mean, this rink is beautiful in their backyard. The whole glass down the side had lounge chairs and a bar and all that kind of thing set up along the side. That's how the parents got to watch practice and everything. They use it for practice. But here's this guy built it for his kid. It's nuts. Yeah. It's nuts.
Built it for his kid, built it for himself to live through his kid for sure.
Kid, so that my dreams can be achieved.
What happens when they turn 18 and they're done and, you know, they're going to do something else?
Yeah. It turned into a show.
It's not like the pool. You can't just fill it in and plant flowers in it.
Yeah, it's on eBay. Anyone want to buy a rink?
eBay? It's a normal size rink you'd see in any small Canadian town. That's what it is.
Couple schmel. You'd said you had a chance to meet some of the young draft picks this year. Did you chat with Zach Benson, their first rounder? It seemed like an absolute shocker that he slid to Buffalo, and I feel like they might be thrilled with that guy getting to them in Nashville.
Love this kid. I spent a few minutes with him. You know, I actually kind of broke the ice with him because my buddy here owns the carnivals in town here, and you know, and he was all excited that this kid's family, that's what they did. And he calls them the Carney. A Carney finally going to make it to the NHL. He's going to put the Carneys on the map. And it was awesome. But this kid gets it. You know what? He's a young man that's had to work from, I'm not talking hockey. I'm talking off the ice. He's been expected to play a role in a family business since he was a young kid, and he traveled with the family all summer. So all this is into him. This is instilled in him that, you know, you got to work to be successful. And not the biggest kid in the world, but he's got a motor that just he goes and he sees the ice so well. He moves the puck really well. He's got the perfect attitude for a young kid to come in and be successful. You know, you're not talking to him and you're looking at him thinking, oh, this kid's got the pressure of the world on him. All that pressure just seems to melt away on this kid. He just feels so comfortable, so relaxed, and he just goes and plays.
That's a good young core. He's joining down the road too.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you. It's been a lot of turnover, a lot of injection of youth in that the last couple of years. It's an exciting team. Who would be a kid goes and wants a new Sabres jersey? Who's the one that all the kids are kind of infatuated with?
Well, Darlene obviously here is huge. Thompson's huge here.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And I would say the next biggest one is Dylan Cousins in this town. People love in this town.
I bet
people appreciate a hardworking guy, you know, meat and potatoes guy, doesn't have to be flashy, but Dylan Cousins plays the same game every night, plays hard, plays physical, great defensive player. There's another kid, offensive kid. He's put in a defensive role here more than anything, you know, killing penalties in that, playing third line, and he's excelled at it. He's still getting 20 goals a year, you know, so they're probably the 3 most popular right now, I'd say, on the group.
And then you're going to add Benson to that group, and Power is only going to
really Talk is another guy, you know, that's huge here.
Good, Rob. This team's
he's from
good.
just down the road, Syracuse. So, you know, spent time here. He's a part of the Junior Sabres organization growing up too. So he's got ties to town. So he you know, lives here full time now too. So he's another big name here guy.
Can they make it? Because I think that division I used to think was just too hard for anyone but the 4 teams that get in. But Boston all of a sudden, Krejci, Bergeron out. That doesn't mean they're out, but it means there's more question marks than there would have been otherwise. I think we all think Tampa, Toronto, Florida are still good. But is there room for the Sabres to get in the East?
I think there is. You know, they would have easily been there last year if they didn't have a couple of 8-game skids. Yeah. If they can prevent those long skids from happening, you know, you're going to lose 2, 3, 4 in a row sometimes. But when it starts going to the 5-6 game, that's when you're kind of like, oh, this is where it's going to slip away from it. If they can prevent that from happening this year, I don't see why they couldn't make the playoffs. I really, really don't. Yeah, Ottawa's got better. Detroit's going to be better. There's a lot of teams out here that have got better, but there's a handful that, even Pittsburgh, step back, these kind of guys in the East that you're going to always be playing. You've got the youth, you got the experience, you got a little more depth now. Solidified our D a little bit, got a little bit more defensive back there, a little more physical back there that we had a big problem with in the last couple of years because the guys were all offensive players. But Clifton and Johnson coming in, Clifton and Johnson, they're going to kind of bring a little meat potatoes back there that they can solidify that D zone a little bit. So, yeah, it's they love the coach, they love the whole coaching staff, and they're good to them. So I think just their experience they had last year, not even making it, but being in that hunt and that fight to the bitter end was huge for these guys.
And if they get saves like any other team, you got a chance.
Well,
so how does that break down?
You know what?
Levi's
the goaltending
young, right?
could be a question. Luukkonen and Levi are going to be your two goaltenders going in, and both young kids. But I think they're looking at it that if these guys could split the games and they can get the most out of both of them and keep them fresh and keep rolling them, night to night, that with the little help of the little more defensive game in front of them, it helps those guys out.
Yeah. A little easier when you don't feel like you're throwing a young guy to the wolves.
Yeah.
Right.
And that happened for so long here.
Yeah.
I think
and now it's
Olmark
not. You've got the depth.
Yeah.
You've got the depth in Rochester now. Like you've got a team, went to the semis last year in Rochester with all young kids down there. There's only obviously have your veteran players, but a lot of the young kids are the ones that carried that team last year to the conference final. So, they've got depth. So if, in my eyes, if they have to do something at some point, A, they still have cap room, and B, they've got assets that people want, and they'll be able to get what they need if they have to.
Hey, we got to go. We got to run a practice here.
No, Ray wants you to leave. 15 minutes. That's all he needs.
Yeah, you can leave. You can beat it.
I like this. I don't know what you get paid to do this, but I'm taking your cash.
Yeah, it's not a lot. No, Razor, hey, we'll let you go. Thanks for jumping on. Good to see you again. We were all thinking of you.
No, it's great to see you guys, but you know what?
Yeah.
Clean yourselves up a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's talking to me.
Yeah.
Like, how old are
He's
you
pretty
with the
clean
long
today.
hair? How old are you?
Well, I've only been collecting bottles in the alley for a year or two here, so I don't know what.
Well, it's not what you look like, okay? You're not trying to sell yourself as what you look like. You're trying to sell yourself as maybe what you know, okay? Look at
What
me.
you could, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
look
not
at Dean. I could
big.
know what
Look,
he knows.
Yeah.
I'm not much to look at. I got a big head. I'm getting fat. My hair's falling out, but I'm intelligent, and people want to listen to me. That's the draw.
Sabres make the playoffs. I'll shave my head. Let's go. Let's do this.
Sabres make the playoffs. You shave your head.
No, why not? Let's go.
Write
why
it
not?
down. Write it down. Go
Write it down.
Sabres. Yeah, love
The
it.
key's going to be to cut it before then, but yeah.
All right, Razor.
Have a good practice.
Go
Thanks
keep
for coming
that
on.
coach in line.
Guys,
Appreciate you.
Hope you all have a great day.
Yeah. Here he is.